Sanders said he was holding off on endorsing as he worked to extract policy concessions from Clinton. Sources familiar with ongoing discussions between the campaigns say Clinton's expanded college affordability proposal this week was key to moving Sanders towards an endorsement. Sanders campaigned on free public college for all. Now, Clinton says she's in favor of eliminating public college tuition for families with incomes up to $125,000 a year. Sanders is expected to make the endorsement official next week in New Hampshire. That's the same state where Clinton first campaigned with then-Senator Barack Obama 8 years ago, in the town of Unity. Tamara Keith, NPR News.
The government's monthly jobs report isn't due out until tomorrow, but a private sector survey shows that after a slowdown in April and May, the economy was again adding jobs last month. Payroll processing firm ADP says private sector employees added 172,000 jobs. Mark Zandi's chief economist at Moody's Analytics and says that would seem to be a more accurate reflection of what's happening in the economy.
The ADP number, and hopefully we can get confirmation of this tomorrow with the BLS number, feels like that last several months have been temporary, that we're still in an economy that's creating a lot of jobs.
The more inclusive government jobs numbers expected to show stronger gains. Some economists are forecasting about 180,000 jobs were added. Four former traders with the British firm Barclays have been given prison sentences in connection with charges they sought to manipulate a benchmark interest rate that, among other things, is often used to set credit card rates. A London judge, in handing down the sentence, said the four manipulated the so-called London Interbank Offered Rate, or LIBOR, between 2005 and 2007. One trader pleaded guilty, while the other four were found guilty by a jury. Stocks mostly lost ground today. The Dow was down 22 points. This is NPR.
Tesla's rough month. Microsoft should take notes. A listener finds us a guest. Another update story. Which droid should you purchase? Apple, not hip on Spotify. So max out your RAM and overclock your CPU. All that and your calls coming up next.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, Technologic.
Live from studios in South Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael, Bruce, and the Guru.
Technologic.
Well, I tell you, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. You never know. By the way, Guru, whenever you...
there.
I could kind of...
We're going to have a fantastic show. I know that's going to happen.
Well, yeah,
for sure.
but I mean, I can just barely hear. That's weird. This is just so...
Do I need to yell?
I can't hear
Michael, can you hear me?
I guess I'm going to have to... I don't know what I'm going to have to do. Guru thinks it's the headsets. I just don't know.
We're having technical issues.
Yeah, well, shocking.
Very unheard
Well,
of for a tech show.
It's a Techie show.
That's right.
Going to have technical issues eventually, I guess. I don't know. I might have to take them off. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about those.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, so much going on this week, obviously, and of course you can't ignore the events of this week, no matter who you are, really. I don't see how you
so much going on. And of course, the big news is all the stuff with the Hillary Clinton email.
Yeah.
A lot of investigation findings and not findings, I guess you could say. Yeah. And it's just, we don't want to turn this into a political show, so we're not going to.
But anyway, the real question I have now is that should Microsoft be taking notes? I think Microsoft,
they need a new cloth to wipe that server.
But Microsoft and these other companies need to be taking notes. If no other reason, because they now have a way out of some of these suits recently. I mean, they didn't intend for that woman for Windows 10 to mess that
the Windows
woman's
10, yeah.
computer up. I mean, they really didn't intend for it to happen.
But it happened.
But well, I know, but they didn't intend it to happen. It didn't really. I mean, they intended for her to have a really good experience. They intended that it update fine and she didn't lose any money or any downtime. They intended it. They might have been, I don't know, they might have been a little neglectful in maybe pushing it on people.
Like I said last week, they commented out a line of code and it messed it up. No, I don't know.
Yeah, but I just think they should seriously consider this as a future argument going forward, that they don't intend anybody's system to crash. They had to, we covered it last week, me and you, but they had to sort of find two different maybe CEOs that had 5,000 apiece that they could put together out of their pocket change.
They pulled the 20 out.
They might have pulled a $10,000.
They pulled a 20 out and said, I need change for a 20. You got 10,000.
Yeah, right. They did.
No,
but I really do think that they should consider this going forward is, hey, this should be their argument in court. We don't intend anybody any harm. Matter of fact, we want everybody to be able to enjoy Windows 10. We think so much of it that we've made a great way for you to update it. Even if you don't know what's going on, don't think of it that way. Think of it as just a good way to update something. I mean, it's going to do it for you. How much better could it?
I'm not buying it.
Could it possibly be? It just updates for you.
Some folks don't want it. No thanks. Thanks, but no thanks.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but
I don't know. I think it's a good plan. I think they should seriously consider having the ability to go to court, or when they're brought into court, and say, "Hey, we're sorry they didn't like it, but we really didn't intend any harm." I don't see how we could be have a problem supplying them a product and it do damage. We didn't mean to do damage. It was just something that happened.
Oops.
I really think that they should start there. I mean, I think they should be paying attention to what's going on in our nation today.
Well, it goes back to, I think our listener Micah has said this before. With software, you no longer own the software. You're given a license, the right to use it.
Yeah.
And they have all these rights and stuff, and you give up so much just by using the software. All I can say is you better have your data backed up. And we've said that for a lot of things. Ransomware and just in good practice if your computer goes belly up. But just have a good backup of your data, offsite preferably.
I mean, you don't want
so when Microsoft updates your operating system and blows out all your data, you can get back to it. So that's the best advice, because Microsoft's going to do what they do and Apple's going to do what they do, and we're just along for the ride.
Well,
it's a good or bad thing.
Bruce is not here, by the way. Oh, by the way, welcome to the Hey Techies show.
Yeah, I was wondering when we was going to get to that part.
Well, I wanted to open a little bit different. I wanted to carry on this conversation as we're talking with friends. I mean, these are our friends who are listening.
That's right.
Fellow computer techies.
Yes.
Fellow people if you love phones, if you like talking about internet, if you like talking about rants. Hey, we got a show for you tonight.
Hey,
if you're a rant type person, this show may very well be the show you are most interested in that we've done in a while. Especially if you're a coder, we've got a really good, really excellent interview coming up. I really feel it's going to be great. So.
And I want to stop you just for a quick second. We have some of the best listeners.
We do.
I'm going to say that because one of our listeners, Trey, sent a tweet to me specifically earlier this week about this. Hey, check out this app called DevRant. I'd never heard of it, so I thought, okay. So I sit there and go to the web. I think he gives me a link to the website, so I go look at it. Like, oh, this is neat. So I go download it, and it's just. We're going to talk about it more, but Michael lined up an interview with the co-founder of DevRant, so we're going to talk to him more about it. So we'll kind of save what it's all about when he comes on here after the first break. But
Yeah, Guru sent me back a text after I was telling him about it. And he said, well, you didn't waste no time on that, did you? Yeah. I said, yeah, well, you got to hit while the iron is hot, right? That's what I've always
that's why I
learned.
say we have the best listeners, because
We do.
Yeah.
We appreciate them so much.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. You can reach out to us. Go to HeyTechiesShow.com. We've got links to Twitter, Facebook, the YouTube. We're live streaming on YouTube right now. We got a chat room going. I'm trying to monitor all this and take notes so we can have our show notes out there, first of the week once we get it posted. But if you got any kind of suggestions for content, what you want to talk about, just, hey, shoot us an email, tweet, put it on our Facebook page, because we'll talk about it. We'd rather talk about what you want to talk about than what we've got on our list here.
Yeah.
This show's
256-782-5600.
Yeah, that's another way to get told up.
And we love to have you on the show. And of course, they're going to have our line will be tied up here pretty soon. And after we come back from break, we're going to be joined by our guests. But anyway, I just think that there's a lot of interesting stuff. We've got a ton to talk about. We hopefully Bruce will safely make it back in. He's on his way. And hopefully, we missed him so terribly bad last week.
Yes, we did.
But we survived and had a good time. So, well, we're so glad to have you all here with us tonight. Oh, Bruce sends me a little note, says, hey, I'm about 15 minutes out. So he must be listening to us on the radio. I hope it sounds good, Bruce, because apparently my headsets are not working all that well, but we'll work through that. Bruce can argue with me later about my intro there. I don't find out if he enjoyed it, if he even listened to it.
I know Bruce enjoyed it, most definitely.
Yeah, well, right. We'll see. We'll see. Well, look, we're going to cut to break, and we'll have plenty of time with our guests coming up pretty soon. Stay with us. Be right back. Hey, Techies.
Got an illegal email server? Need it wiped? Call us. We have a cloth that just might work.
Cindy's Photography and Fine Arts is available for all your photography needs. She covers weddings, senior portraits, and much more. Cindy is a proud alumnus of Jacksonville State University and is licensed and insured for over 35 years. Cindy's Photography is located at 1765 Broadwell Mill Road in Jacksonville, Alabama. To book a session or for more information, call 256-435-4752. Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show.
And this was submitted by a listener, this song.
Wow. That's nice of them. Well, look, we're so glad to have everybody in tonight, and I want to welcome to the show. He is a CS graduate of Binghamton University, fluent in Neo4j, PHP, MySQL, web applications, and Ajax, just to name a few. Co-founder and head of engineering at hexaclelabs.com, and a developer of several projects, including DevRant app. Please welcome to the Hey Techies Show, David Fox. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, great, David. I can hear you. We've been having a little bit of headphone difficulty tonight. Speaking of DevRant, I may want to get on there tonight and rant about headsets. Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking your time. I assume you're up in New York.
No problem.
I assume you're in New York somewhere?
Yeah, we're based out of New York City.
Okay. Oh, right down in the heart of everything.
The Big Apple.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I can hear you now, Guru. So there's a short. We'll check it out later after. Don't move. No, don't nobody move.
Don't touch that.
That's right. Don't touch that. Well, listen, David. We had a listener. His name is Trey, and he's a listener to our show, and he sent us information about your app. And he was very kind in doing that, and we appreciate it. So to honor him tonight, we're kind of going to give him the first question, and then we're going to go out in some different directions. So he wanted us to thank you personally for the app, and he wanted us to ask you what your inspiration was in creating an app for developers to rant about tech.
Well, first of all, just on the note of Trey, he's one of our earliest users. And he's been great, and we thank him for setting this up. We really appreciate it. He also placed the first order from our store.
Oh wow!
Okay.
That's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, we're going to mention about that. You have a store. That's right.
Yeah, we just opened that. It's been doing well. People they wanted our shirts, but just to get back to the question, and maybe I'll touch on that later. So the inspiration, basically, I started working at a company in New York City maybe 4 years ago or so. We were an online dating app, and it was a nice startup-y company, nice feel to it. But there were sort of some managerial issues, and it had issues a lot of small tech companies have, with annoying project managers, really crazy deadlines, and that sort of stuff. And what I found was happening was I befriended this guy named Tim. And we found ourselves sort of, ranting to each other about, the workday after work every day. We would hang out sometimes in the office late, sometimes in the downstairs lobby, and we just be ranting about various, work-related things. And then it wasn't really till 4 years later, which is now, that we said, hey, you know what, we really enjoyed that, and we're probably not the only, developers or tech company employees that like to rant. And that's really where the inspiration came from.
Okay. That's great. Now, let's see. I'm sorry here. I'm trying to, my headphones keep cutting in and out. So I apologize to you in advance. This is something that doesn't happen every week. Weird, very weird. If you can, you might not can do this, but how many users of DevRant do you have right now, approximately? I mean,
a few weeks ago, we passed 10,000 registered.
10,000 registered. That's great.
That's awesome.
That's really great.
We launched in mid-March, so we're happy about that.
Okay, all right. So what is your hope with DevRant? Where do you hope to? I know you want more users, but what's your hope? What do you hope users get out of it? Where do you see it going in the next few years?
Yeah, so that's a good question. When we created this, and I was telling you about the inspiration. One of the worries we had was that it was going to be really negative, like a black hole of negativity. And we've just been tremendously happy and surprised that it's really become like a support group. For developers to be supporting each other, to be talking about their problems, and being able to get it out. And it's just been so positive. We want to keep it on that note, but obviously where you can still rant and where it's acceptable, to be negative, but in a positive way, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yes, we have a support group, but where we actually want to go, we want to keep building out the apps, and we also, we really want to be like a brand for developers, and not associated with, like work or with the demanding things of being a developer, and more the fun aspect. And, how developers are people too.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I actually work, my day job is to actually be support for PC support at a university. So I don't do the development side, but I do the other side where you get some rants a time or two, or you feel like doing some rants a time or two when you deal with PCs. So
I would think you probably have some good stories.
Oh, yes, I do. So, hey, David, some that have not they haven't passed the level of where I can talk to them about them yet on the air, but there's still statute of limitations. That's what I was trying to think of.
That's fair.
Yeah, that I can't. But they are some funny ones. They actually one happened this week. But anyway, now seriously, now this is a question that I have for you because I've never been an app developer. I've said that. I think it's amazing. I think it's a great, it's obviously a hot thing going on. It's been for a while. Not that it's brand new, but now security is always a concern. Okay, but the security aspect of any app, has that something that's kept you up at night at all? Like your
you mean like our security specifically?
Yeah, like making sure it's secure,
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I've been a developer for a long time now, and I sort of have specialized in security, and I've done a lot of work, and I've also looked at a lot of security issues that various apps have, and I sort of pride myself in being able to be very well versed in security. As for our security, I think we do all the right things. We have some things going for us just by the technology stack we use. We don't use MySQL, which gives you a little extra security just for free off the bat. Because you don't have things like SQL injections. It was pretty funny there, because everybody's a developer on the app. So when we first started, we had like funny users like making posts that were like SQL injections, and they were being like, I had to try it, and I'm just thinking, yeah, you're using the wrong language.
That is good. Seeing folks trying to get in and they have no clue that you're not even fooling with that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Hey, now Apple, I'm sure you keep up with this, or I assume you have. They've pretty much come out and said, hey, everybody's going to have to be SSL by the end of the year, I think it is. Do you see a problem with that as far as in apps, or I assume that's not going to be a problem for you?
Oh no, we've been SSL since day one.
Okay.
All our endpoints, all our websites, SSL only.
Okay.
I mean that's something that I actually wasn't aware of that, but that's a good requirement. There shouldn't be any endpoint connections, API connections that are non-SSL anymore.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to get my questions here. Sorry about that. What is? Let's talk about you for a second. I know we've talked about DevRant. We'll come back to it in a minute. But what is one thing, or maybe several things, that got you on your path of doing app development? What happened? You said, yeah, that's that. Well, I know you do more than that, but you code, but this is really what you're doing now, I think. But what happened for that to come together, even as a young person?
So growing up, my dad was always big on getting me to learn about computers, learn about programming. He was actually a programmer really, really early in the days of personal computers and programming. So growing up, I used to do it a lot. And in high school, one of my friends and I, we had a flash game company.
Okay.
So we made flash games during high school, and some of them actually did really, really well. And I always thought it was a ton of fun having these games that were played by a lot of people. So that's what sort of got me into software and making things.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and then then just going forward, I've always enjoyed. And one of the things, like if any body listening is something I've always think is important for anybody is like doing side projects and working to make things on the side and doing creative things.
Okay. Speaking of that type thing, I figured you probably involved in side projects. I'm assuming you met some people in college or along your way that has really helped you along the way, I would assume, and sort of develop this career that you've come on.
Yeah, I definitely met a lot of people in college. Actually, in college, some of my friends and I, we had some cool projects that were a lot of fun.
Okay.
We did at one point we did this little app that let you see what your friends were listening to, and this was like before Spotify did.
Oh wow!
Before. Yeah, and that was actually right around the time of Spotify launching, and that was right around the time that Apple launched their thing. I forgot what it's called. It's since been discontinued. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, we did that. Yeah, and then in when I started my first job out of college, that's where I met Tim.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, in coding, for you, what's been the most difficult coding language just really for you, just to kind of grasp and use? Or do you even have one?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's a specific language.
That's okay.
I think a lot of it is like the different platforms. Like if you're working on like an app and you have to like do everything, you have all these different different sides of the application. You have to know backend, you have to know iOS, you have to know Android. So there's a lot of different platforms you have to know, and I think that can be difficult.
Okay. Speaking of iOS and Android, or Apple Android, however you want to deal with it, I got a couple of questions there. Which one or either of the two seems to be an easier store to work with? Have you had, you know where I'm getting at?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the easier store is definitely Google Play. Apple. So Apple used to be really bad with having these 2-week review periods or 1 week, but now they've actually gotten really good. So now approval, like for the last month, I'd say, or 2 months, has been 1 day.
Oh wow!
Which is pretty awesome. It's helped us a lot. It's helped us being able to iterate quickly and not have to worry. You used to have to worry, like if I push out an update and there's an issue with it, it could take me 1 or 2 weeks to get an update out.
Right.
So that's been correct. And the other thing for us is publicity-wise and helping publicize the app. Google Play has definitely been a lot better. They're actually featuring us now, like as a recommended app.
Oh, awesome!
Which has helped us a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's free marketing.
Yeah,
free
exactly.
PR, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I apologize that I don't know this, but I'm going to ask you. I meant to ask, do you have a charge now for your app, or is it just free and then you're going to do in-app stuff, or how's that going to work?
I mean, it's free. The core experience is always going to be free.
Okay.
The way it's a community. We haven't thought a ton about monetization yet, but there are some ideas. Around. We've had a lot of people ask for like maybe help finding a job, and when we see monetization avenues through stuff like that.
Right.
There's also the human resources element. We have these people ranting about different companies, and we're able to say to some of these products, like if a Microsoft product is getting ranted on a lot, we could give them data that hey, your product is getting ranted on, and people hate it. Like, here's what you need to fix.
Right. Speaking of that, and I hate to even go here, but I mean, we're a tech show, so we cover all kind of aspects. I know you're on Apple Play. I'm sorry, iOS. I apologize, and Google Play. Sorry. What about Windows Phone? Is that not something? Is that something you've looked at or even thought about? I know only 12 people use it, so I didn't know.
And that's actually a joke. Every time somebody asks for a Windows Phone app, somebody replies, and says, "Oh yeah, that's terrible. All 2 users."
Yes,
you know,
yeah. We know a few. That's why we've upped it to 12. So,
but yeah. So we actually have some awesome users who are building on the DevRamp platform. So we actually have one guy, Jacob, who built actually a Windows Phone version of the app.
okay.
Himself. So
that's awesome.
it's a pretty basic version, but we do get a decent amount of requests for it. So it's something we have in our list, but our list is very long. We're only 2 people right now.
Right.
So it's not top priority.
Yeah, I did notice that you can actually look. It's pretty much functional fully on your website. Is that true? I mean, you can log in and post and comment and plus or minus. So if you're not a coder, you're not going to get that. But yeah, you can vote up or vote down. We'll say that. So well, that's good too, because you have that alternative if you're using like a Palm Pilot or a name your obsolete device here.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of I think Windows Phone users using that version right now, which is pretty complete, but we're still getting it up to speed with the apps.
Okay.
Now I'm going to show some more of my ignorance here because, like I told you, I'm not much of a coder, David, and you're teaching me stuff, which is great. I mean, that's what we want to do on this show. I had never heard of Neo4j. Matter of fact, I had to go look up how to actually say it because I was going to say it a really odd way. How are you? I don't even think I can do it now. It was so bad, David. I don't even think I can say it how I was going to say it. But I did. Okay. Neo4j is correct, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Great. Well, anyway, what I wanted to know is, can you give us just sort of an overview of that? I mean, I know we don't want to get into too much of it because we'd be here all night trying to understand the concept.
I'll just say this. I went to Wikipedia because I never heard of it either. I was like, okay. And then I started reading more. I was like, yeah, I know how much I don't know because I work with data a lot in my full-time job as an IT person and work with relational databases every day. I know it in and out, how to get out of SQL and Oracle and all that stuff. But like, I was like, what the crap is this Neo4j stuff? So yeah, please explain that.
Sure. I'd be happy to. It's a technology I'm pretty passionate about. So that's the database we use. That's the main store we use. It's a graph database. And what that means is, so instead of like an SQL database where you have rows and you just have columns, specified fields. So it's a NoSQL type database where you have no defined. Well, you pretty much have no defined schema. And the purpose is, instead of using rows and joins, you're using relationships. Everything is relationship based. Relationships and nodes. So one of the easiest examples and ways to understand it is like with the social graph. So like, let's say, we have you two guys, you would be nodes. And then, let's say your radio show would be another node. And then, if we wanted to express that you host the radio show, we would do a relationship from maybe you to the radio show. That's a host relationship. So basically you have these relationships that tie together the data. And what happens is it's a very efficient way to express data like that.
All right.
And I assume I'm assuming here you've used this in some programming and some of your coding over the years, right?
Yeah. So when I was at my first company like 4 years ago, we actually used this technology to we had like 80 million users, and we had and tons of them were Facebook connected. So we actually used it to produce a Facebook friend graph. From all that information, and we actually had like a huge percentage of the Facebook universe at one point based on all these relationships, and we stored that in Neo4j.
Okay, so we're a developer. We're building an app. What's the toughest aspect of going to start building an app, according to you? What you've noticed.
You mean from like the actual engineering?
Yeah, just starting it. You're starting it from scratch.
Yeah, like somebody out there's like, I got this idea for this app.
Yeah.
Where do I? They have this idea, and like, where do I go from here? What's the
So I think the thing that people do wrong most of the time, or that is hard to do right, is to really express the feature set in a way where it's the minimum viable product. And MVP is the abbreviation. So where you specify what features you need to actually build in order to get the app to market. Because what happens is when you get people who are new at building apps, they'll try to build everything you would ever need into the app. And what happens a lot of times I've found is you never finish it. Or that's actually a big theme on DevRent. People asking how do I finish these projects I start?
Okay.
And that's what I always say. That's the first thing that I tell people. Get it down to what we really need to make it a usable product, and then just choosing what technology you want to use, and using a technology that's right for the actual app you're looking to make.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, that I can understand I wondered about the finishing part, and something that came up in my mind while you were speaking. What about the updating part? I know you got an app, and like you were talking about, they could update it ever so often or however they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is that to sort of update the software? You're going to have to test it a little while, I assume, on some particular devices. I guess in that standpoint, from that aspect, isn't iOS easier in that because you only really have a few devices to really be concerned about, and then Android, you got trouble there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, iOS is easier to test, just because of what you just said. We've had issues. We've had a lot more issues on Android than we've had on iOS because of that. We've got most of the minor now, but we're still working on it. And that's the nice thing about iOS. In some ways, you do have a limited device set, so you're able to keep it really high quality on every device. That's just a part of the game, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talk about it on the show all the time.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question.
Yep.
Okay. So as far as updates, that's really not, you just, I'm sorry. You just do an update, say, push it out to everybody, and they're going to get it or not, right?
Yeah. So a lot of times, like you touched on, it does have to be tested. Every update does have to be tested. We do core flow on every update,
right?
Testing sign up, testing really core functionality. But what we also do is we'll usually try, if it's a big feature, we'll try to launch Android first. So if there's any bugs, they'll find it before we submit the iOS app, because Android we could update on the fly.
Yeah, so
iOS we have
Android users are your beta
day.
test users.
well,
so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, the reason, the real area I was going with that, by the way, good answer, is that if you do Windows Phone, they'll just push it out to them. They won't worry about whether they want the update or not. So that's really where I was going with that. But anyway, so I do have a question that I don't think Guru wants me to ask, but it's just something I don't think we can get around. And actually, you alluded to it right off the bat, and I really appreciate that. And I think you've got, as a person who's developed an app like this, I just don't see how it couldn't be in the back of your mind. Regarding the DevRent app, which I have looked at, and I went on your forum. Have you been concerned at all about the anonymous user part of it? Like maybe someone taking advantage of the platform, just, be vulgar on purpose or just offensive, just in general. Like you said, you wanted to be a platform that people got help from. I guess I'm just asking, has that been anything in the back of your mind? Maybe some steps y'all might have to take in the future?
Yeah. So absolutely. It's funny. My co-founder Tim, he actually his full-time job. He works for another. They're actually a larger social network, and he does a lot of that with figuring out abuse, preventing abuse. So we definitely, and he's always had that on his mind. So we have things in place. We have to work on putting a lot more things in place, which is actually where the graph database is really nice. It's very good for analyzing relationships, analyzing tendencies of what people are doing, and sort of picking up on abuse. Like credit card companies use graph databases to find fraud.
Okay.
So we can employ similar things to find abuse. But I will say one thing, and this is really important. To this point, the amount of posts that I've removed or users I've banned is probably under 10.
Oh wow, that's pretty good.
It's amazing,
and that's going to be the percentage. I don't doubt that, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, it's not. It was no surprise to me. There's only a few are really going to want to do this. I mean, the point is, if you were wanting to be, and the particular people you know who I'm talking about, they could do this in their own room. They could shout out what they were going to type out in their room, but no one would hear them. The only purpose is so a bunch of people can see, hear, or whatever, and react to it, And I know we know this. So it's just a question I had. It's not an argument, or it's not. I'm not saying it's anything not to get the app. I was just curious about it because I think it has to be a concern for anyone in this arena.
I mean, it definitely is, and it's a valid concern. If we start growing, very, very quickly, we will have bad actors. That's just a fact.
Right.
So we do have to be ready to combat it. There's no doubt about that.
Well, great. We got a few more questions here, if you don't mind, if you have the time. And we really appreciate you being on, man. This is really, we actually haven't had a guest lately. We had a lot for a while, and it's sort of fallen off. It's just, I don't know if the summer's just too hot or something to have discussions on the radio or whatnot. But anyway, if you could talk to anyone thinking about being a developer as yourself, what would be a good place for them to start? I know education, obviously, but I'm talking about a young age. What did they need to start doing now?
I mean, I would definitely say just start building stuff. Start doing side projects. There's lots of cool technologies out there. If you want to make apps, like React Native is really cool technology, to start looking at, just anything that gets your feet wet in building. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, just build stuff.
Okay. Well, just build stuff. That makes sense. We cover robotics. We cover local robotics here where we live in Alabama, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, the youth that are doing it are just amazing. Some of the stuff they build and come up with, and actually we've had a group of young ladies who went out to St. Louis, I think it was, but I'm not sure I got that right. It was St. Louis. They went out to Vex Worlds, where there was hundreds of people, hundreds of teams there from all over the world. It was amazing, and but they did place okay for just being their first time going out there. But it's interesting. That's really
good.
Yeah, it's interesting to see young kids learning this type coding, learning this type things, and being able. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Great.
Kind of jumping off when you're younger, what to do. But let's say you're in college and you've decided, I want to be a computer science major. I want to do coding, or I want to be a developer. I want to do IT work as a career. And we have a lot of those that listen to our show because we have I don't know if Michael told you, but our radio station is the campus radio station for Jacksonville State University. We have a very popular, very highly sought after computer science program here in Northeast Alabama. And what would be your advice to somebody that is currently in school, that they want to be a CS major and that's what they want to do for a living? They just, once you graduate, what do you do then? What can they do now, maybe to help them get that big break or land that first job? Because I know there's a lot of jobs out there. There's a lot of need for technology and software developers and stuff like that. But kind of your advice, I guess, would be.
That's a great question. I mean, so my first thing is just to touch on that same point quickly. CS programs are great, but you should also be learning on your own. If you just depend on the CS program, you probably won't get out with that many, very, very desirable skills. So that's the first thing. The second thing is try to really become good at like a specific language or what some, become like an expert in a few languages and in one language in a certain technology. Because what companies look for is a lot of them are reluctant to hire very junior people who don't have a specific skill that really good skill in a certain language or technology that they can jump right in and start contributing. So if you are very good at a specific language or something, you're much more marketable.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big thing. I'm trying to think what else.
Is there a specific like development language or platform or something that is the hot thing now, or is up and coming hot that they need to be focusing on now?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, for apps, I think React Native is definitely up and coming. If you're only interested in iOS, then Swift is really good. There was actually a discussion about this on DevRant today, which is where I'm taking some of this from. But I definitely agree with it. We always talk about these technologies. Those are big technologies for web. I mean, I'm a PHP guy. A lot of people, they rank on PHP. If you want like what's hot, I mean, there's Node, Node.js for web.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really, if you look at these languages and you look at these technologies, like you'll find big companies, startups that use all these assortments, and it really comes down to like you could really say, well, I'm really good at this language. Here's this side project I built with it. Here's something to prove. Oh, and another thing that's good is definitely start a GitHub account, and try to get some code, try to get some open source contributions on there. That makes you more marketable.
Oh, good advice there. Yeah, I'm a PHP kind of fanboy too, so you won't hear no gripes from me about PHP.
Yeah, I mean, I love it.
Well, okay. Sort of wrapping up here, David. I do have a sort of a final question going off here regarding the different versions of coding and the different languages. I guess would be a better term. It's been talked about and bandied around that there one day will be maybe a one language that you can write in that will actually be cross-platform. That Windows has claimed they had one, and Android's claimed you'll be able to port this so easily. Do you ever see that, or is that just not viable?
I don't think it's viable for every system or every technology, but I think there's languages that are sort of going in that direction where you still need the other languages, but using certain languages like JavaScript, you could target a lot of different platforms. I think that's what we're going towards. But those platforms, like so you have like React Native, where you could write JavaScript and you could target iOS and Android, which is great. But if you look under the hood of React Native to do that, it's actually using Objective-C and these other languages. So you still need these other languages, but you're just coming to a point where you have these intermediary languages like JavaScript that can target more platforms on their own.
Right. But pretty much for app development, you're going to have to stick with the ones that are really native to that product, right?
Well, no. So like that's the thing with like React Native is you're writing JavaScript and you're targeting iOS and Android.
Oh, I see.
You're
I'm
not
sorry.
using so you're not using any platform specific code unless you want to. So it's like a cross-platform development.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I didn't know about React Native. I'll sit here looking at the site right now. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
There's been some other ones in the past that have claimed this and they've kind of fallen by the wayside. So hopefully that will not happen here, because that's what I've told people about apps. We have an app here at JSU that we actually use a vendor supplied platform, and I'm responsible for getting it branded and kind of customized to publish out as our app. And I know very little about app code, but I know enough to know that that's a lot to take in if you're trying to develop for, iOS, develop for Android, which is two different languages, two different platforms. Then you got the whole back end that you talked about earlier, because there has to be something on the back end for this app to interact with. So yeah,
exactly.
Well, look, we can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We thank you so much for being with us. I would like, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, no problem. Like this was really enjoyable. This was great. Thank you for having me.
Well, a couple of things here while we're leaving here, and we're fixing to have to cut to a break. I wanted to tell you thanks, by the way, and thanks from Trey, the listener. We've already spoken about him, and also, what's the one thing that you want our listeners to know about your app as we go? What's the one thing you just want to leave them with?
I mean, if you're a developer, you should be on it because, it's great and it's unlike any other developer platform out there.
Excellent. Well, we sure appreciate it, and we're going to stay in touch. If we have another app discussion, we may get back with you.
I'd love to.
Oh,
Thanks
great.
so much.
We appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, David, you take
Thanks,
care and
guys.
you have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right. Yep. Bye. Well, that was David Fox, and his app is Dev Rent app. What? Bruce is here.
Bruce is in the house,
and he was quiet as a mouse.
I was. I had to finish my dinner.
Oh yes. By the way, and by the way, if Jason is listening, he did not have an Italian sandwich.
No, I thought about it, but I figured something quicker instead of ordering.
Hey, Techie Show, be right back. Went a little long.
Don't have a kernel panic. Hey, Techies, we'll be right back.
Red Threads Apparel carries a wide selection of t-shirt designs for every school function, work party, and much more. They also offer custom layouts for monogrammed attire. Red Threads Apparel is located at 16 Square Unit 8 in downtown Jacksonville on the square. Their business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on Red Threads powered by O Brand, visit their Facebook page at O Brand Marketing or call 256-770-9880.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Looking to secure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
This is 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville, your cure for common radio.
Welcome into the Hey Techie Show. Back, I should say.
This is totally one I put on there, but I got to give credit to the listener submitted song. I wanted to hear more of it.
Yeah,
so it sounded pretty
let's
good.
see. That was a listener, Austin. I think he is from Connecticut.
Oh wow! Well,
Yes.
Austin, I appreciate that song.
Yes, he put that on his Twitter, and I said, "Hey, that sounds like good bumper music for Hey Techies." So he didn't really suggest it, but he suggested it, so we'll give him all the credit. So.
Well, I enjoyed it. I want to listen to the rest of it because you didn't let it bump long enough.
256-782-5600, and you can be on the Hey Techie Show. Maybe something we sparked in our interview that you might be interested in discussing or bringing up.
Absolutely.
Certainly be glad to do that. Or you might be interested in figuring out how you can stay out of jail with just using the idea that you didn't intend to do whatever was wrong.
I can have my own private email
Officer,
server.
I didn't intend to shoot that person.
No, I don't even have to go that far. I mean,
Officer, I didn't intend to speed, but I was running late.
I'm dead serious now.
I didn't intend.
I know
for
y'all
there to be
thought I was
traffic.
being facetious, but I'm serious about Microsoft. They really need to. Their lawyers need to get a hold. I did not intend. We didn't intend for that to take down your system.
Yeah,
We
I don't see how they didn't pull up, something in the EULA from whatever OS she was on to say, well, sorry.
Do you think?
Boom,
Well,
you agreed.
$10,000.
Yeah,
I mean that's the reason. Come on, but please, they paid a lawyer more than that to show up.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, that opens the floodgates.
Well, I
That's the
agree.
only
I'm
problem.
curious. Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch.
Yes, it will. There's something else interesting to watch. We talked about this last week. Not to change subject, we only got like 3 minutes here, so this is good.
No, we can
this is
change
good
the
3
subject,
minutes. We talked about Verizon was rumored
Yes,
to
do that. Yeah.
to do some changes to their data plans, which includes some interesting features, some copycat features of some other competition. Excuse me, I can't speak tonight, but they did release some details yesterday. But here's the thing: of course, the prices are going up.
Yeah, well,
Shocking, right?
no,
I was thinking,
it
I
wasn't.
had this glimmer of hope that they was going to give this to you at no additional cost. But here's the thing. So there's an article from The Verge. They kind of outline this, but basically, the lower price plans are going up $5. And then once you get like into the 16 gig or higher, you're getting $10 more a month. But they're giving you more data. I believe the amount of data you're getting.
they're giving it. They're giving it.
It
to you?
increases.
They're
It
giving
increases,
it to you.
but well, you're paying for it.
Yeah,
But
it's included in the price.
But I will say this: like this is an opt-in thing, so you don't have to go to it. You can keep what you've got right now, at least for now. But
for now,
but any of these plans that you're currently on with your data, you can go to the new Verizon plans they're calling it, and you'll get that carryover data we talked about last week, where if you have unused data from 1 month, it'll carry over to the next month.
Exactly.
That can be a good thing, because let's say you're going on vacation in August and you had a little bit of data left over, and you're going to need that because you're going to be out on the road more and not at home by your Wi-Fi and all that. So I mean it's a good thing. But I think T-Mobile actually lets you carry over up to 12 months. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a T-Mobile
sure about
user.
that, but isn't there a max amount that even you can carry? But I mean, I guess it's the maximum you can carry over 1 month.
Yes, and that's it.
And the max would be whatever your
let's say you
plan
have
is.
4 gigs a month of data, and you use 3 gigs. So
Well,
you have a gig left over. So the next month you'd have your 4 gigs that you're allotted for that month, plus that gig carries over. So you have 5 gigs for that month.
Yep.
But you have to use that extra. If you don't use that extra gig that carried over, it doesn't carry again.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of confusing.
That's what I say you have 4
I'm
gigs,
confused.
you use 0 gigs. Next month you have 8 gigs.
So
say you use 0 again next month, guess what? You have 8 gigs.
Yeah. But for $5 more a month, if you're on the lower ones, and if you're on the higher XXL, you get this included.
Let me pay you more for the data that I already paid you for.
Yeah, but let me ask Bruce about this. We talked about this briefly last week, the safety mode, where if you have that feature on your plan, if you were to hit your limit, you don't have to pay overage charge. They just throttle your data.
It's throttled way down.
They don't
like
say
128K. I'm pretty sure it's 128K.
I've not seen where it says that. Here it is. Yes, 128K.
Yeah,
man, Bruce, you just on top of it.
Well, even though I don't have to worry about Verizon anymore, I still like to watch all the bad stuff that comes on their way. It makes me prouder of my choice too.
But basically, all the rumors were true.
Yep.
You get unlimited. If you opt in for this extra cost, you can get unlimited calling depending on your data plan to Mexico and Canada.
Well, it's
which if you travel to Mexico and Canada a lot, that may be ideal.
Verizon's plan to just say, you know what, we've got the best network. You're going to pay more for it. People that are worried about money can just go away.
We're the Cadillac
and
model.
that worked for them, but now it is because all these other networks are starting to build their networks up because the people have gotten tired of the money issue and gone away. It's starting to hurt them.
Yeah, they're trying to differentiate themselves.
How about this? Quit being jerks.
Differentiate.
That's all you got to do.
Wow. We having all kind of big words tonight.
I know. Can hardly say them too.
Hey, Techie Show. We'll be right back. It's called what's coming up, Bruce?
Our number dose.
You've listened this long, so stick around for Our Dose.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. President Obama says all Americans should be troubled by the deadly police shootings this week in Louisiana and Minnesota NPR's Scott Horsley reports viral videos surrounding the shootings have sparked widespread questions about the officers' conduct.
President Obama did not address the specifics of the two shootings, citing an open investigation by the Justice Department, but he insists they're not isolated incidents. Obama pointed to research showing African Americans were shot by police last year at more than twice the rate of whites.
There's a big chunk of our fellow citizenry that feels as if, because of the color of their skin, they are not being treated the same. And that hurts.
Obama urged more police to follow the recommendations of a White House task force. He says rebuilding trust would make it easier for hardworking cops to do their jobs and also help to avert tragedy. Scott Horsley, NPR News.
Latest police shootings have sparked widespread outrage across the country, with demonstrations in major cities, including New York, Washington, and Atlanta tonight. FBI Director James Comey spent time being grilled on Capitol Hill today, with skeptical Republicans lambasting his decision not to recommend criminal charges for Hillary Clinton in connection with the use of a private email server during her time as Secretary of State. Comey insisting the decision was in no way coordinated with Clinton, the White House, or anyone else, but rather was based on the evidence.
When I look at the facts we gathered here, as I said, I see evidence of great carelessness, but I do not see evidence that is sufficient to establish that Secretary Clinton or those with whom she was corresponding both talked about classified information on email and knew when they did it, they were doing something that was against the law.
However, lawmakers, including Florida Republican John Mica, say the timing of the announcement raises questions. In discussions about a long-awaited endorsement from her former rival Bernie Sanders, word presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton will be campaigning next week in New Hampshire. A Democrat familiar with discussions says the two sides have been talking about holding a joint event there. Some signs the job market rebounded in June after a poor showing in May. NPR's Yuki Noguchi has more.
The ADP Moody's report shows an addition of 172,000 jobs in June, which is a bigger number than expected. All of the job gains came in services, as manufacturing and energy sectors continue to see weakness because of slow demand from overseas. Meanwhile, a separate Labor Department report shows less layoff activity. Initial claims for jobless benefits fell to 254,000, which was a better than expected showing. All of this points to a possible improvement over a very sluggish May. The government's monthly jobs report comes out Friday, and economists expect about 170,000 net new jobs, up from only 38,000 in May. Yuki Noguchi, NPR News, Washington.
This is NPR.
Technologic.
Use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, chart it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, crack it.
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show.
And that lovely voice is Bruce.
That's right. I'm here.
He's here.
I was late
in all his glory.
But I got
or whatever
here.
that means.
We'll let you be late one time. That's
What?
it.
Just once? Fine. Next time I won't show.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We're glad you're here.
Daniel
Bruce.
was like, "You're late to your own show," and I was like, "That's what the talent gets to do."
That's right. That's right. That's what the talent gets to do.
Which I will say, it was coming up. Y'all were coming through clear on 91.9 all the way out to Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
It was super clear in Lincoln.
Was it
And
104.1?
See, I don't know what the new one is.
102.10. No.
What's the new one?
10.
But that's out Gadsden.
No, that's 91. That's 90.
Oh, wait, we have 3 now?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Well, we're going to.
Oh, okay. Because I was searching for it the other day.
I know all this,
and couldn't find it. But it was good up until about Oxford.
Yeah, those mountains. The mountains going into Anniston. It's 102.1.
That's it. That's what I was going to say about it.
Down south and up to the north of us in Gadsden, 98.1 FM.
That's it.
And 91.9 the mothership here in Jacksonville.
I'll have to program all those in.
We always use the TuneIn app.
Yeah, I'm not using my data.
It's just like I'm.
Yeah, Michael's having difficulties with.
Yeah, I'm
his
having
headphones,
a short
sorry.
over there, and
you are short. I mean,
Michael's short.
You know, I'm going to get in trouble for this. Yes, I am. But I couldn't help it. The other day we were watching, and I'm not going to tell you which political party it was, but there was a senator that was.
You get two guesses on him.
I know. It was Trump, but there was a senator that he was in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And so the guy was really short. The senator was short, and I was thinking, well, you really are on the short list. I mean, it's the only list you could be on is the short list. Because I could say that about myself for sure. Man, they're really acting up now, crazy.
Well,
headsets. It's a short and a cable.
Is it your head? Is it?
I think it's a short and a cable.
Now, on mine,
no, I think it's a short cable.
I have to adjust it here. It's like these are two different standards and don't quite line up.
Hear it.
Anyways, so DevRant, got to hear a little bit of that on my way in, and while I sat here being all quiet, I think he should create a innovation rant app or something, or some type of app to allow people to collaborate and innovate.
That's a good idea.
I mean, some innovation can come out of the DevRant.
That's a very good idea, because I think I've said this on the show. Like, one of our companies that we work with, what's the point?
I'm thumbing up. I came up with it here first.
You heard it here
Copyright.
First. But this company that we do business with, they encourage collaboration among fellow institutions.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, once a student decides to go to whatever school, after that, we're all doing the same job. We're all trying to do the same, solve the same problems and all that, trying to keep things going and whatnot. So, that collaboration does help.
Yeah.
So I think you could take that to a larger scale, like the ultimate electronic community for
I agree.
thinkers and doers and all that. But I meant to ask him this, but I really like this is on the app too, but I'm sitting here looking on the web version of my laptop here, but you can sort by algorithm, recent, or top.
Okay.
So you don't have to go by, like, Twitter and Facebook have been accused about trying to push things to the top and their algorithms and all that controversy. And they have an algorithm, but then they also, you can just, if you want to see what the most recent stuff is, you just say sort by recent, and that comes to the top. Or if you want to see what the top, like what's been most commented or voted on, you can do that. I like that. That's a good good feature.
Well, no, Bookface is doing that. You just got to find it. You got to dig and switch it to top stories, or
and then they bury
latest.
all the. They push all
of it.
Oh, you could do that. You could stay off, like LinkedIn. I'm staying off of that.
I think Bruce needs to get on DevRant.
I downloaded it while we were sitting here.
It's not a social media network.
Yeah. well, that's the thing. If it's anonymous or semi-anonymous, I will check it out.
Anonymous. See there. What's this anonymous stuff?
Anonymous.
I don't like things being tied to me. I just don't.
Yeah, I understand that concept. I just don't.
I like my privacy. But according to some judge, since my computer's connected to the internet,
yes,
which was that story out last week? These last 2 weeks have ran together.
Yeah, I think
I should have no expectation of privacy.
Yes,
like, well, your house is facing the road.
You should have no expectation of privacy. Yeah, you have to be.
You should know I can just kick that door and it'll open.
Right, exactly. Or you just look in your window.
Peep through between the blinds or whatever.
Did you should have no expectation of privacy.
Did you really buy that window yourself? Or did you have somebody else?
You better show me the receipt.
Yeah.
Well, let me. I want to ask Bruce this, because I carried this over from last week. I wanted our security expert of the group to talk about this. But you're more of an expert than I am with this stuff. So apparently there's a Wired article from, it's about a week or so old, but they say you should stop using text for two-factor authentication. And, about basically, it's been in the last couple months, they've demonstrated where text messages are often the weakest link in those two-step logins.
I agree with that, especially if you're using like a Google Voice number or something like that. I mean, that stuff's freaking is not as common as it used to be, but I still think there's a fairly large community that does that, especially with the availability of a phone now versus what it used to be.
So basically what's happening, correct me if I'm wrong, but is they can hijack these SMS messages
Yeah.
as they are transmitted, so they can basically, in theory, I don't know if it's been done for real in practice in the wild, but in theory they could log in if they could intercept that.
Well, I mean, they would.
That's
You would have to.
two-factor.
You would have to be targeted.
Okay.
They would have to know that information. I mean, you might be able to get. I would. To me, that would have to be a very targeted attack. You would already have to know the person's credentials, and that's the last thing you're looking for. And you get a hold of their number, and you're able to work some things to be able to get that rerouted to your device, or even just duplicated to your device.
Okay.
That's why something that, like, I know RSA. Let me make sure that's right. I'm not telling you something wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
Yes. RSA Secure ID for their two-factor authentication. You have to enter in a PIN that you know.
Okay. Is this separate
it-
from the password?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is part of
So say
two-factor.
you're two-factor. You're logging in. It'll say, "Give me your your two-factor PIN," and either with your app or whatever you use, you have to enter in a PIN that you've predefined before creating that token. So you have to enter that PIN correctly, and it'll generate a token. But the thing is it'll generate a token whether you put that PIN in correctly or not. So you don't know.
You don't know if you got it right.
Got it right.
So no matter what PIN you put in, you'll get a
randomly generated,
and then you put the number in, then you'll find out if you
are
right.
So
okay. I did not know that feature existed with the RSA Secure ID.
So another company, Duo,
I've heard of them.
They do stuff like that, and they've actually got an app where it will pop up on your phone, in which Google's kind of incorporated something like this, to where it'll say, "Hey, are you trying to log in?"
Mhm.
And you just click.
So you install the app and kind of hook into the app, and they send like a push notification to you.
Yeah, like, "Hey, I'm trying to log in this system." Like, "Are you trying to log in?" "Yes, I am." So that's
Okay.
your two-factor, which
like a soft token, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Google's doing that now. If you want to go to your security settings through your Google account, anytime you log in from a new device, you can say, I'm trying to remember what they call it exactly. But I've enabled it. So not only do I have to do my login password two-factor, but then I also have to say on my phone, yes, I am logging in from this device.
Okay. So really a third factor in this case,
I guess. And I've thought about that as far as something that I'm trying to innovate. And that's, and a lot of this has to go, and I need to research how easy it is to copy some of the unique identifiers of your phone. Because like in large corporations, usually they have some type of MDM, some mobile device management. And in those systems, you have certain information that's unique to a device, kind of like a MAC address.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
Is it burned into the hardware?
Yes, yeah.
So you can't change it.
And some of it, and some of it's also carrier like identification numbers that they don't change.
So no one could get your device and compromise it and change it.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm trying to research is, how easy is it to clone all that information on top of your geolocation whenever you go to an app and say, not only is this me, but like, this is definitely me, because this I've not just like with this two-factor thing been able to clone or to bypass that, because it's going to say, but you're not that device. Like, I see other information about that device. It's a lot harder to change that stuff.
I hear you. And Michael's over there just listening.
I'm listening. I don't
trying
have
to pull
anything
up.
to add. Sorry.
Anyways,
you're fine.
Oh, I know, but sorry.
But just stuff that would take a lot of other knowns. They would have to know a lot more about you and the device to be able to get that stuff.
Be right back.
HeyTechiesShow.com. Open 24/7, as long as we don't forget to pay the bill.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Welcome back to the Hey Techie Show. So glad to have all of you here with us tonight. And so if you would like to be on the program, 256-782-5600, and that will get you in.
Or you can send an email, questions at heytechieshow.com, or send us a tweet at heytechieshow, or
whatever.
Come knock on the
Hit
door.
us
or
up
something.
on Yammer and
Sure.
Yik
Yeah.
Yak and
Yeah.
Skype.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
right.
that other thing I started using?
I don't know. You'll have to inform us. I didn't know there was anything else.
Well, it's really a
Snapchat.
PC.
No,
It's really a PC
Pinterest.
based.
PC based.
Yeah, and it's
You don't have a Windows phone.
Yeah, I'm still wanting somebody to give me a review unit for Windows Phone. Because I said I was talking about it last week that I would try, and I'm serious. I would use a Windows Phone for 2 weeks to see how it is going from the Apple juicer using a Windows Phone. So if somebody wants to make that happen, just please let us know. That makes for some good conversation.
While we're
probably.
doing this, did you see Avast is set to acquire AVG?
Yes.
Really?
$1.3 billion.
I
Wow.
can't believe they have $1.3 billion.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
And along
stuffed
with
stuffed
that,
away in the couch.
if you were wondering, they finally decided to recall 500,000 hoverboards, in air quotes here, after fires and burns earlier this year and last year.
Discord is the name of the
Well, that makes
program.
sense.
So
It's under Discord.
Yes. It's currently in beta though. But if you play video games,
I'll get you some links.
I would say that's a good one, a good thing to check out. A listener of the show and friend of the show actually turned me onto it, so have to check out Discord.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes if Bruce remembers to tell me what the link is.
Discord.
Yeah, I need it in writing so I won't forget.
All right.
So,
Yes, sir.
So
No.
yeah, about $1.3 billion.
That's a lot of cash.
So my thing is, do you think that signature based AV is gonna hang around much longer?
Here's my take, and I'm not an antivirus expert by no stretch of the imagination, but it seemed like there's a lot of, I guess you call them 0-day exploits, or not necessarily exploits, but 0-day viruses, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with signature based. If I understand it correctly, if it's new and there's no signature for it, then there's no way the antivirus can detect and protect you from it. Correct?
And the thing is too, and the thing is too, these viruses, once there's a known signature, I mean, all they've got to do is repack it and
like
send it back out.
Like putting on sunglasses and a ball cap.
Sure. Yep.
I mean,
It's like, you don't look the same.
You're
You
good.
know,
You're
changing,
good. Come on
changing
through.
your hairdo, putting on a beard, sunglasses, like you said. So some of the newer ones, you've got some that, and actually, Microsoft offers this with their Office 365 stuff. And I think it's an add-on subscription thing that it will actually run a program in a VM and see how it acts and see if it is malicious. But the problem is that people that have created these viruses are getting smarter and allowing these things to not react in a VM are be time based. So it's again it's only things that execute immediately.
Right.
That it's circumventing some of this VM protection. And then you've got other ones that so like Virus Total, that's kind of peer based, I guess you could say. It's like, hey, what does everybody else think about this? Let's all come together, a yes or no. Then you have others that are now using machine learning and artificial intelligence, using some crazy algorithms to look at it and whether it's been repackaged or it is a 0 day and say, this does not look like good code. We have a huge sample set of what good code should look like.
Yeah.
And a huge sample set of what bad code looks like.
Right.
Which does this look like more? Does this look more like good code or more like bad code? So, that's going to be interesting to see that evolve. And you've got especially with, and not even enterprise, but I would say there's, man,
I'm just messing with you.
There's other home based, or consumer based AVs that, it's kind of like I said, peer based. It reports when somebody does get something, it reports it back.
I think that's a good idea.
And
you just don't want to be the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
To get it to where you're sending the report off, or you're the
So
software on your
it's-
machine.
Yeah. So you may end up being the person that gets it. So
It's kind of a crowdsourcing kind of
crowdsourcing
methodology.
That's the term I was looking for.
Oh,
Thank
okay. Yeah. I just pulled that right out of the
Okay.
air.
So that's a great discussion, by the way. And when I go back and listen to
Yeah,
it,
the crickets meeting was
no.
very
I'm
entertaining. just kidding.
No. It's very important to do antivirus. Very.
Oh yeah.
I know.
You know what I'll say the best antivirus is?
Yeah, tell us, Bruce.
Don't be an idiot.
No, that's true. Oh, I agree. Oh, totally agree. You can really protect you from yourself.
Yes,
is the biggest thing.
Don't open links in email. Don't open attachments.
Yeah.
Don't go to random sites. If it's talking about something free, chances are it's a virus.
Yeah, that's correct.
Have a good backup of your data. I've said that like twice this show already.
Yeah.
I've talked about that more in rants.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to call in.
Awesome.
I may have been here whenever he was actually. No, I think I was still driving in when he said something about. Yeah, I was, because I was on 21 when he said something about raining, and I was like, he got the idea from our show.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of shows that do ranting.
He's like, man, these guys sure ran a lot.
Yeah.
There should be an app for that.
It was really
Ding.
He was really nice to talk to.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
David was awesome.
He was very open about his app, and I really appreciated him.
But
It was
I
very
will
nice.
say this for the people that are just getting started out or are currently trying stuff like that. What I think the key point he said is you're not going to learn it in class.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You've got to
experience it.
Got to experience it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Most of my undergrad program that I went through was heavy in coding. I did not have time to code, honestly. I mean, I was working all the time.
Right.
So I'll be honest, I'm not a great coder.
Well, I can. He's talking about side projects while in college, and I can remember I was working a lot in college, but I found some ways to take some of what I learned in the classroom and apply it to some, I guess you call it side projects, things that helped me do my job better.
Yeah.
Where I was working. And a buddy of mine also worked there and was going through this program here with me, and we kind of collaborate on some stuff. So I can have firsthand experience, and not that anybody told me to do that. It's like, oh, I learned this. Let me see if I can go full with this.
Yeah. And I think too with mobile app development, there, if you can get to, hey, what's the minimum I need to get to market? There's a quicker return on your investment.
Absolutely.
Because I kind of came in, or was kind of ending during the beginning of this whole mobile app, not evolution. What's the word I'm thinking of? Revolution. Thank you.
Revolution, yeah.
During this whole mobile app
revolution.
revolution. And I'll say this too. Don't surround yourself because I mean this is gonna be true for computer people in general. If this is something you're really interested in, don't surround yourself by negativity or lazy people.
Yes.
Because I had a group, and I mean they're still good friends, but they weren't a good group of friends to develop with. And I had side projects that I wanted to do, and I think I would have benefited from that if the motivation of the team would have been there, because at that time I was thirsty for knowledge.
Yeah.
And
this whole team-based approach to solving problems, that's what's pretty much common in the workplace now.
And I mean, and I couldn't get anybody to be like, yeah, let's do this together.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of it you got to just you can do on your own, but at other times, at least for me, and I mean this is personality based, like I need somebody to tell me this is where my idea is dumb before I go and hit a brick wall later on. I like that.
Sometimes you need a truth
throughout.
teller.
Yeah. Or just somebody that's looking at it from a different angle.
So moving on to one subject
here,
yeah, and then we're going to cover rumors here in a few minutes. But I don't think we had too many rumors.
No, it's a lot rumor week.
Yeah, a lot rumor week. But but I'm sure it was all the ones that
it's the ones Bruce made up.
I saw the ones that Guru could find on MacRumors.com.
There's more than just Mac rumors.
Okay,
second week in a row for those keeping score.
Bruce,
what's up?
Tesla has had somewhat of a bad couple of weeks. From the standpoint, if you just want to look at it from news coverage, I don't necessarily mean that they've had a bad week by the stance, if you want to look at it from whether or not it's all accurate or not, and whether or not it's going to carry on.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think more is coming out about this accident. And we learned that there's a possibility. I don't want to say it's for certain, but I think you could leave it as a possibility that he was watching a DVD when the accident happened. That he was definitely not paying attention to the road.
I would say he wasn't.
And if you don't know the story, we give you a little backup. Basically, this is actually more than a month old. The accident happened a while back, actually. And what I think a lot of people are bent out of shape about a little bit is with Tesla in general, and I guess really Musk, is that they think that they went too long without telling anybody that it happened. And they're sort of taking this out and saying, hey, you really kind of did that for your own because you knew that you were going to release this IPO. And it looks like, if you look at it from that aspect, did they keep it from the public because of that reason? Certainly one could make the argument that certainly is true.
Yes.
The question is it true? That's a whole nother issue. I don't know. I will say this car, which we talked about the Tesla, we covered it on the show many times. Bruce certainly would love to have one, without a doubt, for a host of reasons.
Oh yeah.
One, it's cool.
He wants to watch his DVDs while he's
yeah, man. I got movies to watch.
Like he's speeding down I-20, right?
I mean, I'm not. The car is.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't me speeding, officers. The car doing it on its own.
It didn't intend to. No, but it didn't intend to do that. But seriously though, this is sad. This guy died. He was a former U.S. Marine, I think.
I would say right now he's a former everything.
Yeah, I know, but he was I believe he was a Marine, if I'm not mistaken. He was in the military.
Yeah.
But what happened basically is, according to what they have decided early on, is the car's camera system could not distinguish between the sky and a big rig's trailer
Okay.
crossing the road.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not finished.
Okay.
And along with that's what I've read now. Okay, so this is what I'm going at what I've read. Also, Tesla has said, from what I've read, that they believe that there must be something else that didn't go right because the warning system should have warned them from the what do you call it? The radar that's on there. It should have bounced radar off of a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
He went under the tractor trailer.
Yeah.
It decapitated. It took the top off the car. Basically, the tractor trailer was turning and it did not stop.
Yeah.
They believe, as I said already, that it happened because the cameras could not distinguish a white trailer with the sky. It must have been the contrast or something. That's what they believe happened. That it couldn't tell, it wouldn't stop it because it couldn't tell the difference. I'm not saying that that's right.
Okay.
I'm saying that's what is assumed.
I would. Okay.
I don't know.
I would think in a system like that, you're not depending upon just a camera. You've got, like you said, some type of radar, and that would bounce back.
That is correct. However, I think the thing to know, here's where I want to go with this.
Okay.
I was talking to Bruce earlier in the break, and for some reason, I needed some water here. I think that here's where I go with it. Are we ready for this car as a society?
So I'll say this. I agree with the assumption or notion that they probably withheld this information because of, stocks or whatever. But at the same time, does Ford report every fatality in their vehicle?
No.
Does Nissan? Does
I don't know.
Honda?
They may or may not. I mean,
it's not reported in like in the public eye.
Yeah, they don't come out and say, "Hey, Fox News."
But this is
heard it here
This
first.
is like the first major
Ford Focus
accident
fatality.
with this
Say that 3
car.
times fast.
This is like the first major accident with this vehicle.
Sure,
that's
but
claimed to be, I hate to say uncrashable.
No, they have not claimed that.
Well, they haven't claimed that. That's why I was
The
thinking.
media may have.
Yeah,
but Tesla, the company, has
no.
not.
You're absolutely right.
And they have said from the get-go, this is beta.
Yeah,
this is a beta test. Like, you are still expected to be aware. Like my car, I mean, like I said, on the interstate, it practically drives itself. But it is still up to me to stay aware of what's going on.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering.
Well, a lot of it, I think, is just media hype.
Well, sure,
yeah,
but
I
that's
agree.
going to happen.
I think this goes from, of course, people don't read what they're saying they agree to.
Yes.
But I mean, this goes to people not understanding the technology.
Yeah.
Just like what you were talking about earlier with Verizon and adding extra gigs. Most people don't even know what a gig is.
That's true.
And they usually are like, well, I'll just purchase extra gigs so I don't have to worry about the overages. And they never even come close to using it.
Yeah, and they don't realize that I'm only using like 1/10 of what I just throwing a number out there, and they're paying more than they really should.
Yeah, exactly. And Verizon's just taking that money.
Oh yeah.
Well, so I agree with
people are ignorant.
I agree with you, by the way. Oh yeah, no question about that. I think that's pretty clear. All kind of reasons recently.
And at some point, you can't say the company is responsible for educating me, because I mean I think to an extent they've done everything they could to say this is what you need to know. They can't force it into the person's head.
Well, no, but I do think, I'm going to go back to that this is if these kind of things are going to happen. Number one.
Oh, yeah,
Number
absolutely.
one, I don't care what kind of car you're going to make or what kind of vehicle you're. If they were all flying vehicles, there's no telling what would happen. Number two, you're going to have this a percentage of people that will try something like this.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I don't care how much they educate themselves. They said this guy was supposed. Oh, I know what I heard. They said this guy was supposed some kind of tech genius. Apparently. Yeah. The other thing they thought from that, they made an assumption that he might be intelligent enough to hack the system, okay, and make it play a DVD from the main console. That was a discussion.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm not saying that's happened.
Yeah.
I think a portable DVD player was found in the vehicle or in the accident.
Yeah.
And somebody said, I think Harry Potter was mentioned on it.
Well, I mean, we talked about this thing before the show or during a break or something, but autopilot in like commercial aircraft existed for years. It's to help the pilot fly the airplane. It's not a replacement for pilots.
Correct.
Because they have to be aware of what's going on.
Actually, I think one thing we
and
learned.
I wish we had Miami Rick.
Well,
to
we
talk about
learned in
this.
Miami Rick, you have to use they want you to use the autopilot.
Yes, because
you don't want to not use the autopilot.
Yeah, because I've talked to Miami Rick and I've talked to Captain Jeff. We talked about him. He has a airline pilot guy podcast.
Exactly.
But he said if you had you had to hand fly that jet for hours on end, cross country.
Sure.
It would get very monotonous and it would get very tiring. And the time when you needed to be at your best focus at landing, you may not be on your A game.
Right.
So it's just a tool to help
the
pilot fly the aircraft safely. It's not a replacement for, like they can set the autopilot and go back there and have.
But see, that's my point. I think the term autopilot is misunderstood.
Yes.
And it's understood by pilots.
Yes.
I mean, they understand the concept of it. But I don't think it can be. I don't think it's ready for cars. Not from the term. I know it's
the
a
term autopilot's not ready. Sure.
I don't think it is. I think they need to find something else or do or
like I said, least effort driving or little effort driving.
Yeah. I don't know.
Driving assistant.
I tell you,
but pilots have many hours of training.
That's correct. Yeah.
Where your average
your
average driver
of hours.
Well, but in terms of the initial training,
sure.
I know we're not.
If you can pass the road test and pass a written test, then
you've had to have a year of learning permitted. Right?
No, but there's no requirement of how many.
Now there's graduated licenses.
But there's no requirement of how many hours you have to log behind the wheel.
This is not apples to apples. Sure. There's no question about that.
I know, but I'm just trying to make it apples to apples. I know it's not.
No,
but
I'm using the term. I just wanted to cross-platform the term autopilot. It cannot be.
But
I don't.
We're a generation. This is brand new.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's going to get. It's still new technology. And I mean, most cars don't have this. I mean, this is a very new thing, and we're all learning together. And I don't know if a mistake was made if he was actually watching a movie and not being aware of his surroundings.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll know that or not.
Well,
but they'll be able to.
They got a black. It's got a black.
Yeah,
box.
they'll have telemetry and stuff
Speaking
they can
of
download.
airlines.
But by the time like our children get to that age, I think it's going to be more and more prevalent, and they'll be able to.
Yeah,
they'll adapt.
That
more
opens up
quickly.
a whole other can of worms that we can't.
I know.
We're not going
to. That's just my kind of
we talked
30,000
on
foot
the show
view.
before. I don't know if those type vehicles and traditional vehicles can exist together.
That's a whole nother.
I mean, that's a
whole nother discussion.
To me, that's a problem. I just don't know if it can.
So you got a rumor to start this week, Bruce?
Absolutely, and it was one that I wanted to go over last week.
Oh yeah,
but did not get a chance. So this is going to be especially interesting for our local listeners. So Cable One has been
Bruce's favorite company in the world.
Has been accused, and they actually kind of admitted to it, of using your credit score to determine the level of customer service that you get.
Really?
Yeah, the CEO admitted.
The CEO came out and said, he's trying to, of course, put a spin on it. But,
of course.
But he's like, we're not turning anybody away. But, we're not going to spend 15 minutes setting up an iPhone app for somebody with a low credit score that's typically not going to pay their bill or pay it late. So, the level of customer service, or, you call in and say, hey, my internet's flaky or something like that. They're not going to be as quick to help you. or spend as much time as if you're somebody that is.
They're going to give like the minimum level of service if somebody has
minimum,
a lower.
not even service, minimum level of effort. There's just like,
Yeah.
well, okay, we'll get to it. When we
Where
get
on
to
the
it.
other end, somebody that has a very, I guess, pristine credit score.
We'll be right out there.
Wow.
So
I'm speechless.
They're not using it necessarily to turn anybody away. But they are definitely they use predictive analytics to determine the who the hollow value customers are, and that helps them determine on the level of customer service that they'll give. So, don't they?
Well, anyway.
Well,
I don't know if he ever said they're using a credit score, but the rumor is that they're using a credit score, but he just said predictive analytics.
Oh, one last thing on this. Julie Lawis, and I know that's not how you pronounce it. Laulis, I think is how it's spelled, but she is the COO of Cable One.
Yeah.
And she said, she wrote in a letter to the FCC, any Cable One customer can, through a good payment history, achieve the highest LTV level and achieve additional levels of customer service and other benefits. That's what I think she was trying to clean it up.
Yeah. Just say it's not just your credit score. It's also, do you always pay your bill on time?
Well, predictive analytics could just be how close you're paying it to the due date, how often are you late.
Sure.
It could be internal data that they have.
She went on to say in this letter, the LTV level is independent of a credit score, and a credit score is not used to determine levels of service or loyalty rewards. I don't know.
I will say this. I don't know if they still do, but Best Buy used to do the same thing. They would look at your purchase history. That's why they always encouraged you to have their reward zone card.
Yeah.
And they would put you in groups. They had groups that, whether you were seen as the young person that wanted the bleeding edge stuff that had plenty of money, whether you were a high income person that wanted, the best of everything, but wanted, high quality stuff.
But you say that makes me think of hotels and airlines, because hotels and airlines have loyalty programs too. And if you are a member of those, and depending on your level, in those programs can give you additional perks.
So I mean, I would say in their defense, not that I'm defending them,
of course
not. As far as retail goes, they've been doing this for years.
I think you cross the line when you start giving service.
Well,
in terms of like the effort or whatever you want to call it, for if you're having trouble with your service that you're paying for.
Well, and plus with it being a utility, as far as internet,
we're
not talking about TV and stuff, but as far as internet being a utility, if I were to call my local utility company and say, "Hey, I have no water," like that is a priority. Like they can't just say, "Well,
you were late on your bill last month. We'll get to you when we can."
We'll get to you when we can.
Yeah, that wouldn't last too long. So we'll see how this rolls, I guess.
Oh my goodness, sorry.
I was like, "Where does that come from?"
One of those crazy.
It's
one of those crazy videos that start when you get on a website. So frustrating.
Well, here's another rumor.
Your rumor.
We talked about this last week. There's an anniversary update coming to Windows 10, August 2nd, supposedly. CNN Money put out an article with some supposed features that are coming. Microsoft may have announced this. I don't know, but I'm calling it a rumor. There's changes coming to Microsoft Edge. I don't know. There's like 2 people that use that browser.
Getting rid of it?
No.
Oh,
it would
be the change.
It will be updated to use less memory and power. There'll also be better features for people with disabilities, such as high contrast mode and screen readers. And for the first time ever, users can use biometrics through the Windows Hello to authenticate. It says authentic, but authenticate their identities on certain websites. Xbox One, there's an update there. I didn't know that was part of Windows 10, but buy game once and play it on a console or Windows 10 computer with shared game progress. There's some updates to Cortana and
that's pretty neat.
And Windows Defender, but for the
Now, Windows Defender, how can this be an update? Real quick, listen to this, Bruce. Users will have the ability to schedule automatic and periodic anti-malware scans of their computers.
I thought it already
did that.
That's what I
How
thought
in the
too.
world would it be if it didn't do that?
I will
That's
say this
optional.
though, my wife,
That's
'cause
either
on
a
hers,
mistype or something.
on hers, just have Windows Defender, and it caught something yesterday because she downloaded a Word template. I don't know where she got it from, but
Probably Microsoft.com.
yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, inside of Word, you can just
I know.
search. And I was just wondering. I don't know where she got it from. So she was like, "Come look at this."
Yeah, I
And
know.
then she got up and walk away, so I didn't get to
We're
talk to her
really.
about it.
What's this last one, Guru?
Yeah.
We're really late in this segment.
I know. This is some more leaks and rumors of iOS iPhone.
We said so much stuff. So many
iPhone
letters.
7 Plus. Some design renderings are showing.
Oh,
They're showing
okay.
stereo speakers and larger cameras
For what now?
for iPhone 7. So
Stereo speakers. Now
yeah,
that
that's kind of the big thing.
They
In the
need
bottom,
to do
it's still
that.
showing the lack of a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
of course.
But they're going to have stereo speakers supposedly and a larger camera. So we'll see. That's just to add to the continuous list of iPhone 7 rumors. So there you have it.
And as we're cutting the break, did you see where the U.S. Senate is saying bye-bye to BlackBerry?
It took them this long.
They're going to either allow them to have a Samsung 6S or a iPhone SE. Be right back.
No representation is made that the opinions of hosts here are better than those of the average tech show, but we think so.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Red Threads Apparel carries a wide selection of t-shirt designs for every school function, work party, and much more. They also offer custom layouts for monogrammed attire. Red Threads Apparel is located at 16 Square Unit 8 in downtown Jacksonville on the square. Their business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on Red Threads powered by O-Brand, visit their Facebook page at O-Brand Marketing or call 256-770-9880. Cindy's Photography and Fine Arts is available for all your photography needs. She covers weddings, senior portraits, and much more. Cindy is a proud alumnus of Jacksonville State University and is licensed and insured for over 35 years. Cindy's Photography is located at 1765 Broadwell Mill Road in Jacksonville, Alabama. To book a session or for more information, call 256-435-4752.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
This is 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville, your cure for common radio.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, we're monkeys, and people say we're monkey around.
Welcome to the Hey Techies Show.
We're too busy singing to put anybody down.
I think we got monkey business going on tonight. As a matter of fact. Yeah. Well, of course. Nothing wrong with the monkeys, right?
Absolutely not.
Well, I'm so proud to welcome in the guru again. for this week's.
Weeks because I wasn't here last week.
This
and
week,
I want to guess it.
Do you want to guess last week's?
Give me the date. Well,
Okay,
don't
hang
give
on,
me the date.
I'm pulling it
I'll
up.
just tell you what I think it was.
I'm pulling it up because you don't look at the website either. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, not June 23rd.
This
That's the week
in
before.
tech history.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. Hang on.
That's fine.
We'll do a double one. We only got like 9 minutes of show left. That's okay.
I was gonna
Everybody
guess,
waits for this part of the
I
show.
was gonna guess.
That's
I
why
was
we do
gonna
it right
guess,
now.
Before you tell me the date,
Then they turn it off.
Okay.
I was gonna guess it was the iPhone.
No.
Okay, now give me the date.
All right, June 28th, 2011. That was last week.
2011.
Yeah, I know. I
Yes.
was totally clueless. I was
Where was I
kind
at
of
in
close, but I
2011?
was not warm at all.
June 28th.
Yes, June 28th, 2011.
Oh, where was I? 2011. Is this a significant thing, or was this like, oh, here's another?
It depends on what you consider significant. So, but
2011. Hold on. I just graduated, or I graduated.
Oh,
I'll save that for the second This Week in Tech History, but we'll go ahead.
I know what it is, by the way.
Well, you were here last week.
Oh, really? Was I?
Google Plus.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
That's right.
That was last week's.
Now what's this?
All right. So, this week's date is July 1st, 1979.
1979.
Oh, I should have restarted. Oh well. You only get a few seconds.
Keyboard?
No. Sorry. The first Sony Walkman went on sale in
I knew
Japan.
that. Dang it. Keyboard was much sooner than that.
Oh yeah. We talked about the QWERTY keyboard a couple weeks ago.
We did, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about with the modern computer.
Oh yeah, that was this week too.
I freaking
But
knew that.
Yeah.
Sony.
How much was the first one? Do you does it say there?
it does not say in this
$80.
article. It was a lot more than $80.
Oh yeah, I'm
But
sure.
it went on sale in Japan on this date, so it was debuted there, and then it went on sale here about a year later. It allowed owners to carry personal music with them. The Walkman and their iconic headphones introduced a revolution in listening habits and popular culture at large.
$200.
That sounds about right. Anyway, so there you go.
Almost a month's rent.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
79.
in 79, yes.
Well, that's what an iPhone is.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's about a month's.
Yeah.
If you pay outright for it.
Yeah.
It's a month's
Yeah.
mortgage.
Well, it depends on your mortgage. but
Wow,
yeah.
that is stupid.
Well, I mean,
That is dumb.
And we're all paying it.
yeah.
That is, the R word.
Okay.
Oh
The
my
R.
God.
That's how we're gonna qualify it now.
Well,
It's the R word.
I would say it because I'm not PC, but some people listen to R, and I'm not sure if this show is PC or not.
At times.
Oh my gosh, that's stupid.
So what about a hack of the week, or at least something?
So, the original, when Wendy's thought that it was about 300
Yes.
restaurants, they have now determined that it's more about 1,000.
Wow.
So instead of
Wow.
it being like 1 in, 10, and now it's like, or 1 in 5. No, was it 1 in 8? Maybe is what they originally thought it was. Now it's like 1 in 3. So for every third Wendy's you pass, one of them was probably part of that.
And there's like, I can think of 3 in this area, or 4. So not good. So that's why take I don't know if their advice. Take my advice. Just don't use a debit card anywhere.
I agree with that.
Just use a credit card.
Did
It's a lot easier to not be. It's a lot easier to get
Pardon
it taken
me.
off and get it.
How
get
did
your money
they
back.
figure it out, Bruce? Did they just? Do you know? It's fine if you don't know. I was just curious.
I think they just went through and were doing malware scans, and they found the same malware at more sites than what they originally thought it encompassed.
Huh. Well.
Wow.
But I wonder if they know how an entrance. I wonder if they know.
I don't think they know yet.
Nice.
They were going to put a list of the affected restaurants on their website this morning, but they couldn't because of technical difficulties.
Somebody hacked our website. I forgot the password.
You
to
can't
that.
make this stuff up.
No, that's true.
Oh,
well,
goodness.
a quick overclock stack. A tourist plunged to their deaths in Peru trying to take photos. By the way, you think most people, they're scared of sharks, but apparently several people have fallen to their death while trying to take selfies or take a photo of the amazing area in and around Peru.
So under the Melissa Mayer deal, Mozilla could, or Meyer, however you want to say
Yes.
it, Meyer.
Meyer.
Mozilla could walk away and still get more than $1 billion if it doesn't like who buys Yahoo next. So
Who
if
could walk away?
Mozilla.
I didn't know they were connected. How are they
they're
connected in?
They're the search for Yahoo.
Oh.
And if they decide that whoever the next buyer is, if search isn't a focus or they just don't like the cut of their jib, they can walk away and get $1 billion. Or they could just walk away and get $1 billion.
$1 billion?
$1 billion with a B.
Man. Who wrote that in the contract? Gee whiz, somebody.
That was just part of it, just so Meyer could get them in.
Oh my god! Well,
It's
now we
kinda
know
like-
why. Now we know
kinda
why.
like if
Now
we
that
break
explains
it-
the whole thing.
If we break it, we'll continue to pay you. Like we
Oh,
want,
good
we want
grief.
you.
Well,
Wow.
all right. This one's an interesting one. It's a airplane-based one. Shocking, I know, from the guru. But airline pilots, they don't get automated reports for turbulence. Did you know that, Michael?
No.
You
I
haven't
did
flown
not.
in forever. But anyway, there's a new partnership between IBM's weather company and GoGo, the in-flight Wi-Fi company, or in-flight internet company, where they're going to hopefully try to prevent that, or not prevent it, but to help the pilots get automated reports of turbulence ahead. So pilots flying aircraft equipped with GoGo in-flight technology will now get air turbulence alerts in real time. Based on this, they said think of it like Google Maps using crowdsourced data from lots of mobile phones to compile traffic information. One thing to note here, private planes will be the first ones to get it, so it won't be going to commercial airlines anytime soon, but maybe eventually the commercial airlines will make use of this to make you have hopefully a more pleasant flight.
There's a tiny micro camera. It can be injected with a syringe. It's been invented. German engineers have invented it.
Wow.
And if I'm reading this right, it also can be, 3D printed, I think.
Sure.
Pardon me. Sorry. The thing I wanted to point out, the compound lens is just 100 micrometers.
That's small. Very small.
Samsung unveils world's first UFS memory cards.
Micron,
Yep.
by the way. Said it wrong.
Oh, well, on
Go
here
ahead.
it just says U. If that had micron, I would have said
No,
micron.
I said micro. I meant micron.
Gotcha.
I meant micron meter.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
So it's going to be in 32, 64, 128, and 256 gigs. This means it will read a full 5 gigabyte full HD movie in roughly 10 seconds. And the reason why they're doing it is basically to keep up with the high resolution of all the cameras and video that they can keep up with it.
Go ahead.
Real quick, Walmart Pay is arrived in 14 more states, including the state we're in Alabama. We're going to talk about it more next week because we want to have a more detailed
not
review
next week.
or the week after. But we'll we'll talk about it
Replay.
later. But yeah,
What's your pick?
Some drone video of the latest from the construction
got
of the Apple Campus 2. It's in 4K too.
Versus pick.
My pick
30 seconds.
is an app called Under the Label. Go check it out.
Under the Label.
And if you haven't heard about it, arkencounter.com. It's out in the Midwest where you can go see a real ark, the real life size.
I saw.
Fully
That's
built.
pretty
It's
cool.
also a museum.
Road trip. Let's go.
Hey, thank you so much for being with us this evening. And as always, we appreciate our listeners so much. We do want to tell you we will be out of the office next week. There'll be no live Hey Techie show, but you can check out our rewinds on Sundays at noon. And there'll be a rewind show next week as well. So we'll be on vacay. We'll get back with you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Have a good evening.
The Hey Techies Show is produced by Mike Stedham and co-produced by The Guru. Station manager is Billy Dunn. Join us again next time for another exciting installment of The Hey Techies Show. It's gonna be great, maybe.
Live from NPR News in Washington.